Joining us now to discuss what companies are doing to make more electric vehicles and what we can expect from the EV industry in the future is John Bozzella, the president and CEO of the Alliance for Automotive Innovation. It's a trade association for the automotive industry. John, thank you so much for being here on Morning Rush. We appreciate it. Let's first start with the supply of electric vehicles that we were just discussing. For instance, auto giant Ford looking to reduce costs and secure supply by importing iron-based batteries from China. Why are the batteries for these vehicles in such short supply while this demand is so high?
Yeah, well, first of all, it's great to be with you both. Thank you for having me. You know, what we're seeing here is, as you mentioned, increased demand, and that's driving companies to look for more supply, secure supply over the long term for the raw materials that go into electrified vehicles. If you want to understand what that supply chain looks like and what it might look like in the future, all you have to do is look at the microprocessor or automotive consumer chip situation right now. If we don't develop supply chains here in the United States, we'll continue to be dependent on other countries for these raw materials. And so that's a challenge for us here in the United States if we want to continue to be a cutting-edge manufacturer of vehicles, but it's also an issue for affordability as well.
And so essentially, in a nutshell here, obviously gas is high right now. Prices are coming down, but still high. And because of that, people are tired of paying a lot for gas. An EV makes a lot of sense economically, but the same shortages and supply issues that have wreaked havoc for every other product across the globe is doing the same thing to the EV scene here in America. Is that a fair summary?
Yeah, that is a fair summary. I think you see a lot of excitement in the marketplace for electrified vehicles, right? For battery electric vehicles and plug-in hybrid electric vehicles and even hydrogen fuel cell powered electric vehicles. So yes, 6% of sales right now. I think these are early adopters and easy adopters, if I could say, people who have a single family home with a garage and easy access to home charging. If we're going to really get to, say, 20, 30, 50% of the market by the end of the decade, we're going to have to appeal to a much broader segment of the population and bring prices down from an average of about $66,000 for an electric vehicle today to something lower than that.
How's that happen, though? Because that's important. What does the thing cost, and is my cost savings in gas make up for the higher price? That's what the average potential buyer wants to know. Talk about that a little bit.
That's exactly right, Rob. So what we need to do is we have to secure raw materials. They have to be more available and more affordable. So what that means is building in the United States resilient supply chains for these materials now. The closer we can get supply, meaning the raw materials and the subcomponents that go into battery electric vehicles, the closer we can get those to the point of production, the more affordable the vehicle will become. And so that's why there's such a focus from companies to secure supply, and also why we need kind of a national strategy, if you will, to make sure that we have secure supply chains and also that we have charging infrastructure so customers can feel secure that they can go as far as they need to go and then charge the vehicle right up.
So earlier this morning, we actually interviewed Lieutenant General Russell Honore, a longtime environmental supporter, and he told us that he doesn't foresee electric vehicles coming in the future. So here's his comment.
We are in a transition. The electric car ain't coming. It'll be a while before it get here. We're relying on fossil fuel, and we're paying that price in terms of climate change. But we need to have some kind of agreement with the oil and gas company because it affects everybody's lives.
So do you agree with what Lieutenant General Honore had to say there, that assessment?
Well, look, 400,000 people bought electric vehicles this year alone so far. You know, as you pointed out, 6% of the market. It's small, but that doubled year over year. And I think we can expect to see that pace in the near term. But there's no question that right now we're still at 1% of all vehicles on the road that are electrified. So you do need a balanced approach. We need to continue to secure supply chains so that we can secure our economic future going forward while continuing to make sure that we're providing affordable gasoline-powered vehicles as well. That's what the industry is doing. But the transformation to an electric future is well underway, and it is, in my view, the future of personal mobility.
And I do believe the White House infrastructure plan, the one that passed months ago, the bipartisan effort, did include I should know this, either 50,000 or 500,000 charging stations all around the country, correct? When you say that we're in that era, it's coming, that's pretty big proof right there.
Yeah, $7.5 billion of public investment in high-speed chargers on highway corridors connecting communities. That is an indication that we're moving in an important direction. Is it enough? It's an important down payment. We're going to need to continue to invest both through the private sector as well as more government support for that infrastructure. But it is important to our economic future. And important to continue to maintain a cutting-edge, globally competitive auto industry here in the United States.
Well, just like TV folks are jumping into streaming, seeing that's the future, the auto industry jumping into EV, seeing that's the future. So times are changing, and it's a race to get there. John, thanks so much for giving us some time and insight this morning. We appreciate your expertise.
Thank you.